Alright, yo, how are y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? So it is just I just started rolling camera without actually thinking while I'm rolling camera, just so I could actually roll the camera, and think of what I could possibly talk about in here. So this kind of just off the cuff. Let's call it the video of everything. Speaking of everything, what is everything? I don't know. Everything could be anything but nothing, or it could be anything in between everything and nothing, because nothing exists, but everything maybe not. Good question. No, but basically, I'm just at the start of a, if you want to call it, I don't know. I don't like the word podcast because it's not really a podcast. Because usually with a podcast, there are certain topics you discuss, and with this, I usually with a podcast you have multiple people on the podcast to discuss things, and it's just me discussing things. So let's call it a talk. Just talk. A talk. Let's talk, or let's discuss. Is that better? I don't know if that's better or that's worse. Anyway, so the topic for today, there are a few topics, but I think the big one I want to talk about is just the state of everything. The state of everything. And when I say everything, I don't mean everything, obviously. I just mean the state of reactions. And I'm not talking about my channel in specifically. I'm talking about just channels in general. Because I feel like reaction channels, they've kind of went through a weird shift over these last couple of years. So like when they started, everyone was like, "Oh, these are pretty." Reaction channels are pretty cool, and then it turned into like reaction channels are just stealing content. It's basically just someone sitting in front of a camera watching a video and just recording himself, and then basically leeching all of the views of something. And then now it's kind of more accepted again. And I always been hesitant with just like making reactions. For those guys who are unaware, I did start this channel like in 2012 when Hunter x Hunter was out weekly. I did weekly reactions to it, and I was like 17 or so, or 16, 17 or so. And then basically I deleted all my old videos. I basically went just in a massive hiatus and just deleted all the videos. After Hunter x Hunter, I think I watched like 5 episodes of Psychopaths and then never continued, and then just took that hiatus and ultimately came back. But yeah, like the state of reaction channel has changed quite a lot, and I feel I just speculating where it's headed right now. I feel like a lot of people are doing reactions. There's a lot less people doing reactions to YouTube videos. There are still a lot of channels doing reactions to YouTube videos, of course, but I feel like nowadays most reaction channels or most new channels that do reactions kind of move into like this either TV show or anime. Um, I I feel like I don't know. I get why. No, I actually get why. It's actually I'm pretty much at fault for this one as well. For me it's pretty much the same thing. If you make a reaction video on like a YouTube video, oftentimes it feels like you're taking away from that YouTuber. Whereas if we're doing a reaction video to a an actual anime episode or whatnot, or a TV episode or whatnot, it doesn't feel like it. Although still doing the same thing, you kind of feel like, oh yeah, they're the overlords, the massive company. What can my few views really do? Me watching the video and whatnot, and doing reactions. Especially those who obviously have highlights in the footage. What can that really do? That doesn't really take the goodness, the virtue out of their content. But in principle, it's the same thing. You're still stealing content of publishers, not but with small YouTubers it's okay for some people, and with like the big channels it's like, oh no, yeah, that's fine, you know what, it doesn't matter what we do. We're just tiny speck in a massive ocean that is the internet, that is a corporation's finances and whatnot. And I'm very guilty of that too, and if you haven't noticed, I don't do reaction videos to YouTube videos, and the reason for that is because I actually, for example, like the Shofu, his the Super Smash Brothers cipher, when that first came out, like that, literally after like 2 minutes I recorded a reaction. Like 2 minutes after that video came out, I recorded a reaction because I knew there was going to be so many people who I'm familiar with on that video, and I was like, oh, I need to record a reaction. I did record a reaction to it, and then I did an analysis that was like 30 minutes just on the actual thing. That analysis was longer than the actual reaction, which is rare for me. But I decided not to upload that, and the reason why I decided not to upload that was because, well, Shofu, he's not a small YouTuber. You know, he's got like, I think like 400,000 subscribers. But the point was that I didn't want to like, because I saw that he was selling the music on iTunes, that I didn't want to like take those views or the potential money opportunity from him. And then I watched the video today and it's like, yeah, well, he's actually commenting on like a reaction saying, yo, thank you for watching. And I'm like, huh, interesting, you know, but it's always this like double-edged sword. Like either it could be seen as advertising, it could be seen as appreciation, or it just could be seen as flat out stealing. And it really doesn't matter. Like, you know, to some that's the case, to others that's not the case. But I just try and like stay away from doing reactions to YouTube videos. I actually opened a YouTube channel, set a separate YouTube channel. I've only uploaded one video on it, but I opened a YouTube channel like 4 months ago where I was gonna do like YouTube videos reactions or like, you know, internet content reactions. But I decided not to do anything, and maybe, you know, maybe one day I'll actually do these kind of videos. But the state of reactions is just always changing. It's just always different. It's just always evolving. You know, maybe something that's not as much accepted today will be more accepted in the future, or maybe something that's accepted now won't be accepted in the future. And I respect people. I think that's always often an issue. I respect people, and I respect their work. And obviously, I don't want to take away from their work. I want them to get all the credit that they could possibly get, and that's just the way it is. Now, in terms of the TV and anime reactions, or TV, cartoon, and anime reactions, there's been a flip ton of people who recently started doing that, and to me, that's just I love it. I'll be honest, I love it. Although I think a lot of people are doing a mistake, what I mean by mistake is I feel like a lot of people are doing a mistake of they're including footage, and that's gonna come back to bite them, because there's always this wave. And I've been here for quite a long time. Like I said, I used to be here from in 2012, like 2 years or so. So I've been here for quite a decent amount of time. And usually with like these big corporations, if you include footage, they'll come back like every 4 or 5 months. So like you'll be fine for like 4 to 5 months, and then suddenly like within 1 month you'll have like 50 videos being flagged. It's like recently, I think it was like in November, when like every single person, like everyone, like all the reactors and whatnot went through the copyright struggle. So I'm just worried that like all the people that are doing reactions now, that they'll be in trouble, say in 3-4 months down the line, when like all the big companies come back to like check all these videos. That's my one worry, that, you know, I hope they don't get discouraged once they hit those copyrights and whatnot. Like if they get like claims or strikes or all that. I'm just hoping that's gonna work out for them. Now, funny enough, I used to watch like a lot of reactions. Nowadays, I barely watch any. I keep up with like a lot of them. I'm like subscribed to like 50 people or so, but I barely watch any myself. Maybe it's because of time, or maybe just because I'm not interested at the moment. I'm currently going through the I'm not interested in that phase. So that's that really. But there's so many shows right now. Like there's so many shows that people are watching right now, and I should be like one of those people that just spend all day just watching people watch something. And if you think about reacting, it's such a weird concept. You're watching someone experience something for the first time, hopefully for the first time, because if they're not watching it for the first time, then what is really the point? I shouldn't say that. I actually have been thinking of doing a, not so much reaction, but more an analysis of like something I've already seen. And I don't want to say what just yet, in case I actually do it. I likely won't. But there was something that I've been thinking about, you know, rewatching and then doing analysis. And there's also something that I've been thinking about rewatching that I've seen, but a friend of mine hasn't actually seen. And we were speaking about like if you wanted to do a reaction to it, to a reaction to this series, and we've been speaking about that for like since December and whatnot. We just haven't had time yet to actually sit down and probably think about it. And that series would have been Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because my friend hasn't seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Obviously, I've seen it. I've seen the original one. I've seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I've seen Full Metal Alchemist, and I've read the manga. The point is that I don't know. I just dual reactions is one of those things that maybe you'll see in this channel in the future, but I think at this point probably not. Speaking of reactions, we're nearing 2K subs soon. I think we're 4 subs away from that, so that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. It's not like I care that much about the subs, in all fairness, because if I really did, I would have picked more popular. I would have done the seasonals. I would have done like shit ton of seasonals and whatnot. But I really don't care that much. I don't really care that much about the views either. Better. I do appreciate all the views, of course, but it's not like I'm picking shows that will get me those views. Because if it did, I would have like already started Neon Genesis Evangelion. I would have started what's called not Guilty Crown, Gurren Lagann. Yeah, Gurren Lagann. I would have started Samurai Champloo. I would have started all these shows that that are somewhat popular. I would have started Cowboy Bebop. I would have started all these shows already, but I'm not interested. At least not yet. These are all shows that will obviously happen in the future, but I'm not interested in rushing. Because right now I just don't care. I'll be totally honest. I just don't care. Subs and whatnot, I don't care. Views, I don't care. Of course, it's always nice seeing everything grow, like seeing the subs grow, seeing the views grow, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, it's not like that makes a massive difference, you know. It's as I always say, especially with like reaction channels. Like, for example, if I finish, what am I close to finishing? I think the closest show the show I'm closest to finishing is probably Monogatari. If I were to finish Monogatari, I think like I'd lose probably like around 50, maybe 100 subs, because all the people that would be subscribed for Monogatari would obviously be gone, and that's just the nature of a reaction channel. And once you finish a show, people will unsub, and that's fine. I don't care. As long as they got their fill, as long as they got some entertainment. For me, it makes no difference whether I'm reacting or just watching. The only difference is that I can't binge, and that's actually quite a big difference to me. But in terms of the experience itself, it doesn't make much of a difference. It just makes a much more difference in terms of actually recording, I guess. Because if I were to like normally record, if I were to normally watch, I should say, I would just be sitting down on my laptop, watching for 4 or 5 hours, and then get up and then do something and so on and so forth. But I would have seen like 10 episodes, just at once. And that's how I binge shows. I just binge them at once, and then once I finish binging it, I move on. They're totally different to how I'm reacting, which is where I've started like 50 shows and basically not finished any of them. So that's pretty bad. But yeah, that's just the way it is. That's just the way. That's like the big negative I can see, because there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I would have loved to have been finished with already. Not just because I want to binge these shows, but because that way I don't forget things. I'm not much of a forgetful person. Like I don't tend to forget things that easily, but when I do forget things, I just can't remember it at all. So it's kind of like I don't forget things easily, but once they're forgotten forever, pretty much. Anyway, that's my one worry. In terms of gameplay, there's still some games that I've started near, of course, Final Fantasy, of course. I want to bring these back, but I don't have the time. That's honestly the way it is. I want to bring these back. I don't have the time. I'm planning. Well, for those that don't know, I'm currently doing my masters. That will probably end in June-ish, I think, depending on obviously if everything goes well. It'll end in June, July. And then in October, November, I'm planning on moving out. So I've got quite a hectic, end of year / middle of years to end of year to look forward to. So there's a lot of things that I want to do. There's a lot of things this year that I want to do. There's certain things that I want to finish because people have been waiting. That's really the only reason people have been waiting. I don't want to keep people waiting forever. But I'm also very busy this year. For example, in 2 weeks, I have like 9 exams in 2 weeks. Pretty bad. I hate when that happens. I much rather prefer exams being spread out. But hey, you can't. It is what it is. You can't have everything. But yeah, like I said, you can't have everything. and you just gotta deal with it step by step. I've got a pretty terrible pace. JoJo, I've recorded like the episodes like 3 weeks ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago, and I've still not uploaded this. I've recorded a few videos that I've not uploaded yet, and that's because I'm trying to like keep this pace of having at least one reaction a week. Sorry, not a week, one reaction a day. Just because, so it's just that way, so that there is actually something out on the channel. Right? That's the main thing, so that there's actually something out on the channel every single day with something being there. But we'll see how it goes. I've not, it's a little bit annoying actually that the videos, there are certain videos that I wanted to upload, certain things that I wanted to do. I don't want to say it. But there's certain videos that I wanted to upload, certain things that we wanted to do at the start of this year that I've not done yet, or that I won't have the time to. But we'll move on step by step. Now, in terms of the series, as I said before in my 2019 prediction, or 2019 whatever it was kind of video, 2019 video, the plan is to finish Monogatari by February, by the end of February, of course, to finish ReZero by the end of February, to finish Spice and Wolf by the end of February, to finish Tamako Market by the end of February, and then to finish no, I'll leave it at that. Because I was going to say something else, but we haven't even started that yet. So the plan was to finish these shows by the end of February, and then, as I said before, some of the things such as Monster, Legend of Galactic Heroes to finish within the first 6 months of this year, and something along the lines of Gintama. As crazy as that sounds, no, that doesn't sound that crazy, not really. But to finish Gintama, or not to finish, but to be caught up with Gintama by the end of the year. So that's the plan right now. I'll probably be up to date with JoJo. What was the last one I recorded? The last one I recorded, I think, was episode 13. Obviously not uploaded but recorded, but I think the last one I actually recorded was 13, either 12 or 13. But I'll be up to date with JoJo by probably first week of February. And that's probably when all reactions will be up. I'm just waiting them I'm just saving them basically for a rainy day. Whenever I don't have time to record something, those will go up basically in that kind of fashion. And that's really what I'm doing, because like I said, I want to have at least one video. I want to have at least one reaction out every single day. Just what it is. That way there's something. The Promised Neverlands. I was gonna start that. I was gonna start The Promised Neverlands, but the issue with that is time. That's really the big issue. Time. As I said, I've got a couple of exams, a dozen exams in February. But the main issue is that I don't have the time right now. So I was thinking of like watching or catching up once I've done all the exams. But I've been told that apparently anime adaptation isn't actually that good. That's actually pretty terrible. So I don't know whether I should. I don't know whether I should catch up, because I don't know if the anime adaptation is good or bad. So we'll see. That's one of those things that I'm not 100% sure of. That we'll have to see. Depending on what people tell me, it's good or bad, I'll then either watch the anime or read the manga. Another thing is Doro, I think it's called, or Doro. I was told that's like very, very good. I've got no idea what that is about. Same as Promised Neverland. Besides, the only thing I know about the Promised Neverland is I think there is like is it orange, or is it, I don't know whether it's orange or grey. Oh, it's not orange or red, but it's like an orange or red-haired child. And that's the only thing that I know about the series. I don't even know what kind of genre that is. But we'll see. Additionally, Vikings, there'll be, hopefully, I can't say for certain just yet, but there might be maybe a Vikings discussion after this season ends. I wanted to do reactions, obviously, to Vikings. I started doing reactions to Vikings. I think, how many episodes did I do? How many episodes did I upload? I think I uploaded 4, and 2 are already taken down. So I tried, like, obviously there being a certain thing with having footage, you can only have, there's not a set amount of footage that you can have in a video, but usually what YouTubers think is that 10 minutes for a TV show is usually fair use. No, they struck me down straight away. I think my not episode 4, but like season 5 part B episode 4, that got taken down before it was even uploaded. So I just said, screw it. If it's not working, it's not working. Considering that episode 3 got taken down, episode 4 never even managed to get uploaded. So I decided, you know what, screw it. No more reactions to Viking, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, considering it's such a good season. That last episode especially, last episode, Floki. But yeah, hopefully I can get a few people in that will really like the show, to discuss this season in depth at the end of the season. I think there's only one episode left from this season. Besides that, speaking of reactions, besides that, I think that might be the last thing I have to speak on the topic of reactions, and that is that there might be 2 new series that I'm gonna start in the end of February. 2 that at least in my mind. One is 91 Days. It might be end of February or mid-February. I'm not sure when I'm gonna start that yet. And the second show, it's something that I can start at any time, so that's the good thing. Something I think I was told that it's like very separate, so like the arcs separate themselves, and that will be Aoi Bungaku. But I don't know whether that's mid-February, end of February, or maybe early March. It's one of those. So that's the next thing on my plate, basically. But the goal right now is just to finish a few shows, because right now we started way too many shows, and we need to finish them. Maybe I'll put those shows on hold. Maybe I'll just start in 91 Days and put Aoi Bungaku on hold until I have finished more shows. It all depends on time. Yeah, that's the main thing. But that's it on terms of reactions. Let's talk gaming. I talked about it a little bit. Nier and Final Fantasy. I want to get that. I want to play that much more. Twitch. My Twitch channel has been kind of dead, but I want to stream more regularly. Once I have more time, which I don't at the moment, and I won't probably all year. But once I have more time, then I definitely want to be on Twitch. But yeah, we'll see. Twitch is one of those things that I want to do much more often, much more frequently, but we'll see. Now, in terms of other games, there was an announcement about Metroid Prime 4 being delayed. Pretty much the one of the 3 games that I've been really looking forward to. Not this year, but just in general. The other two games being Metroid Prime 4 obviously being the game, then the other 2 games being Bayonetta 3 and what's it called? Shin Megami Tensei 5. Those are the games that I've been really looking forward to. No real date. If there is a new Monster Hunter, I'd be happy with a new Monster Hunter too, like a proper Monster Hunter, not Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World was awful, but like a proper Monster Hunter, I'd be happy too. All right. I know everyone's probably playing Kingdom Hearts 3. I played first Kingdom Hearts, enjoyed it quite a lot. Played the second one, enjoyed it quite a lot. But I'm not a Kingdom Hearts stan. I don't stan the series. I'm not like the biggest fan of it ever. So it's not like I'm playing it or I'm even interested in it, in all fairness. I'll probably just finish it like in a year or 2 whenever I've got some time. But I'm not in a rush to play that at all. I'm not in a rush to go through that at all. At this point, I don't even like games that much anymore. I'm always in this weird phase where, like, with everything really, where I just start something and just drop it. Best way to sum it up, I just start something and drop it, or just don't care about it anymore. Pretty much everything in my life has been like that. I start something, I'm extremely passionate about something, and then I'm like, yep, okay, I've had my fill. Time to move on to something else. The only games that I somehow always do come back to are Super Smash Bros. And for some reason, not for some reason, but Super Smash Bros. And for some reason, a very old game, like a very old MMORPG that I'm guessing none of you will have ever heard of, called Meeten 2. These are, for some reason, I always come back to these two games. Smash Bros. I can understand, obviously the competitive aspect, and obviously the aspect of just playing against people, trying to get better, trying to improve, trying to beat people, trying to be better than people. Of course, that's very competitive, and especially if you're not number one, then there's always a way up. But Meeten 2, I'm not even sure why. Maybe it's because I spent way too much time in my youth playing that game, because it was like the very first game that I downloaded when I got internet, and I just have way too many hours there. And there's still so much that I unfulfilled. So much that I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Never did those things. But I don't know, for some reason I always go back to these two games. Like, these are the only two games I can think of that I can actually play without getting bored and everything else. I just get bored right away. Breath of the Wild was one of those games that I didn't get bored of quickly, and Smite also used to be a game that I used to play non-stop. Modern Warfare 2, obviously we're going back now a few years ago, but it's mainly like multiplayer games really that I don't get bored of. I think that's really the main thing, and I think that's obviously the good thing about multiplayer. Speaking of multiplayer, I'm hoping Metroid Prime 4 has some sort of multiplayer. I think now with Retro Studios taking over, it has a very good chance of being multiplayer. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Metroid has always been the franchise that I love, but it's always been the franchise that I love, but never stan. But it's weird because usually when I love something, I stan something. I just become the biggest fan ever. But Metroid has always been like the series where I love it. I look forward to every single title, but I don't stan it. I don't go out and like speak about it for hours and hours. I don't talk about it for hours and hours. I just say, yeah, I love the series. That's it. I'm not going to speak any more about that. Just like that, basically. So, I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Zelda has been always the series that I stan. Zelda, Xenoblade, and Smash are the three series that I actually stan. Like, I'm like, yo, I know everything about these games. Let's talk for hours. I could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Speaking of games, when will we ever, if ever, no we won't, but I can dream, okay, but when will we ever get like a Chrono Trigger sequel? That's a terrible attempt at doing the Corridors of Time theme. Anyway, I think that kind of summed it up for the first podcast. Alright, you know what? Just to end it on some sort of note, let's end this podcast with a personal story. Ooh. Let's have a personal story every time. Ooh, interesting. Maybe I'll do this once a month. Maybe I'll do this every 2 weeks. Probably once a month. But yeah, story time, folks. Story time. Today's story is about what? What's that? Savings account. All right. So today's story is about money. Let's talk money. The most I have ever worked at one job at a time. Was it 5 days or was it 6? Oh, let's say 2 weeks. All right. The most I've ever worked at a job, I think, was 2 weeks. 5 days, 1 week, and then 2 days or 1 day the other week. All right. So the most I've ever worked at a job was 2 weeks. So the question always arises: how do I keep living? Like, how do I make money? What do I live from? That's a very simple answer, actually. I used to get quite a lot of money from various means. When I say various means, I mean online memes. Memes, not memes. Memes, not memes. We're not talking about memes. Or meme. No, we're talking about means. MEANS. When I was young, 13, 14, first time I got internet was when I was 12. And when I was 13, 14, I thought, you know what? Let me find out how I can make money. Because I wanted to have some extra money to buy games back then, And I found like all these websites, all the websites that I'm gonna name now. There's no point going on them pretty much because you're not making much anymore. But like back then, like websites such as Points to Shop, Rewards One, Lockers, like all these websites where you like do surveys. You get points that you can then spend on gifts, on like games or gift cards and all that kind of good stuff. Back then, I used to do all that. I used to have a YouTube channel where I used to upload tutorials. It was like how to unlock unlimited starships in Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, and like all these kind of videos. Like all these, it's a tutorial channel, right? And like I had a few videos that were like how to get free Xbox 360 life, how to get free PSN codes and all that kind of stuff. And I got a lot of referrals from that, and so I made a lot of money on those websites because I made a lot of people, obviously they saw that video, they saw, okay, he talked about this website, let me click on it. They went to that website and then they used my link and basically just signed up, made some money. And I always got, the way it was for, I remember for like Points to Shop, it was, you got 20, was it 25 or was it 50? I think it was, depending on the country, but I think it was like 50 if they live in America, Europe, or the UK. You would get 50p per sign up, and then you would get like 10% of everything they would make. So if they made 100, you would get 10% of that, which would obviously be 10. So that's kind of how it worked. And I had like, I think right now I have like 2,045 referrals. So you could clearly tell I made a lot of money through that, and that was when I was like 14, 15, 16. Like those 3 years I made like quite a lot of money. I think in total I might have made like 10,000 maybe. In 3 years 10,000 is obviously not that much, but when you're 13, 14, 15, when you're at that age, that is a lot. All right, that to you, that is almost like life changing. And I've never been a good saver, but I've also never been a good spender. That's the thing about me. Like I'll be able to spend I could actually take the camera upstairs. Right now I'm shooting on my phone, which is why I'm having my phone cover in my hand. But if I were to go upstairs right now and you look at my room, you would be able to see that I've got like a billion gazillion books, like a billion gazillion DVDs, a billion gazillion CDs. I don't spend a lot of money at once, but I spend a lot of money on like cheaper things. Like if I'm seeing something that's like under 50, I'm the kind of person, like I'll spend like maybe 400-500 buying 10 different items, but I rarely ever spend like 400-500 spending on one thing, if that makes sense. So I kind of always spread it out, but I don't like buying something where it's one massive price at once. Back then, there wasn't anything that I needed. Back then, there wasn't anything that I wanted, or not much that I wanted. Besides like that 1 or 2 games that came out a year. That's pretty much it. So I had quite a lot of money saved, and then I wanted to find out a way to actually use that money. Investing. I started quite young. I invested a lot of money quite young. Back then, it was. Well, all right. My first stock that I invested in was Pepsi, just to get a feel, just to know what's going on, just feel the market basically, to know, okay, I can see the news, I know why it's going up, I know what's going down, I can see what's going on, I understand it, so on and so forth. All right, good. I had Pepsi for I think 6 months. It made no money. No, not Pepsi. Sorry, Coca-Cola. That's what it was. Coca-Cola was my very first stock, not Pepsi. And basically, like I knew. I knew I wasn't gonna make money. You're not gonna make money with Coca-Cola. The little dividends that they pay, it's not enough to really make a living from unless you invest $1 million in there. So, and if you invest $1 million in there and you're making dividends, I mean you already got $1 million invested. So I mean that's that. But the point was that I basically just invested just to learn. That was the process. Like 6 months, I told myself 6 to a year, 6 months to 12 months. I'm just gonna learn, right? And then from that point on, I then started investing more. There are a few companies that I invested in quite early, but for some reason the names escape me right now. I got the hotel chain, which name I can't remember right now. Why can I not remember the name of the hotel chain that I invested like £8,000 in when I was young? I don't know. But anyway, at one point it was like 40 per share, and then it went up to 100, and at one point it went up to 180, and then it sunk, and now I think it's at like 140. I dropped out when it was like I think 123, or was it 132? That's when I dropped out. So that's when I was like, okay, I think that's a good point to leave. Obviously, I could have dropped out at 170, but I didn't. I went out early. The point is, I made quite a lot of money that way. All right. And right now, right now I haven't invested in quite a long time. And the reason for that is actually quite simple. I wanted to buy a house. That was the plan. I wanted to buy a house, so I wanted to put money into which in the UK is called a H2H. I'm not sure what it stands for, but it's like a housing thing, a housing ISA, and a H2H ISA. That's what it was called. And I wanted to buy a house. That was the plan. I wanted to buy a house so that I could then rent it or sell it or lease it. That plan fell through for reasons, for family reasons. So right now that money is just sitting there and kind of just losing value pretty much. So it's just losing value with investment, with inflation. So it's not going anywhere. So I've been thinking about just putting money into like a Vanguard stock, a Vanguard S&P 500 stock, make my 8% a year and call it quits. At least I'm beating the inflation. So that would have been that is a plan. That's certainly something I'm considering. But right now, pretty much the money that I had, which was quite a lot, is nothing now. It's pretty much nothing. So I'm living off scraps right now, and that's just the way it is. That's just the reality right now. Just living off scraps, and once that money is gone, it's all gone, and then I'm gonna have to think of something else. But that excites me because, as I said before, I get bored of things way too quickly. Which applies to a job too. I get bored of a job way too quickly, which is why I can never stay in one place, which is why my plan has always been to open my own company, or tried some different things, such as, obviously buying a house, making money from that house, but that's always been the plan, all right? It's always been the plan, it's always been the goal, that's always been what I've aimed for, and that's always kind of where my money has come from. See, even what I'm studying right now, I got my bachelor's degree in law last year. I finished that in last summer, and my master's will be done this summer. But even law, I'm not that interested in. I used to be, but now I just got bored of it. Now I'm just doing it because I've already gone through this whole path. I've already not wasted, but I've already spent so much money, and the knowledge is always important. The knowledge is always good. The knowledge is always good to have. But just going into the legal field, I'm just thinking there are better things I can do with my time. I want to be free. That's the key word. Free. Do what I want to do. Live how I want to live, and just have some fun. I've actually thought about doing I thought about this a year ago. Again, I think, and then I just never do. But I thought about doing not investing, but more so a money management YouTube channel last year. I thought about it quite a lot, honestly, quite a lot. But never did it. Maybe I'll consider doing that this year. Considering that, again, I'll be finished with my master's degree, so that it will kind of apply to me, as well. Because I'll need to think of like a new income of money, and I've thought of a few things, of course. The goal right now is to make £8,333 a month, which will equal 100,000 a year. Obviously, that's not easy to do. That's 245 a day. But 245 a day, what sounds like a lot if you think that about, if you think how much that is per hour, you're looking at 20, if my maths is correct right now. My master's failed me. I can already tell my master's failed me. It's about 10, all right? I think 16, or is it 13.7? It's 16.5 or 13.7. These are the two numbers that I have in my head right now. So it's not that much, all right? It will be more like 10. 245, 24. Yeah, it would be more like 10 to 11-ish. So roughly 10 to 11 pounds dollars, whatever your currency is, a day, sorry, an hour, doesn't sound that much. But obviously that has to be income that you make at all times, which is why I've always been such fascinated with passive income, not active income. Passive income, doing something that will then earn you money in the future, something that you've done, and that will just stay there, and you'll continue earning money from that. You'll continue earning revenue from that. 10 an hour. It's challenging, yes. Impossible, no. That's the plan. That's the goal. That's the goal. I always think before tax, of course. I don't think after tax. I always think before tax, just because it's much easier to calculate, especially in the UK. We've got, you pay the tax. Really changes depending on your income bracket. I mean, that's the same for, I think, most countries, but it's easy to calculate that way, really. So yeah, that's the plan. 100K. I'll be trying to do that starting June, July. I'm open about money. Like, if you can notice, like, a lot of people, they wouldn't mention money at all. They wouldn't mention how much they make or whatnot. And that's why I actually don't know what like a normal salary is, because I haven't worked that much. And when you ask someone how much do you make an hour, how much do you make a year, they're just like, that's a rude question to ask. I'm like, no, man, just tell me, man. Please tell me, man. But they don't tell you. So I give up with that, all right? The point that I'm trying to make here is, right, I'm quite open. I like speaking about money because I feel like a lot of people, they don't know they don't know what to do with the money. It's not like I've got like the most experience out there. It's not like I'm a genius or anything. But I've been so far, I'm 20. How old am I? 22? Yeah, I'm 22 until next month. Next month, I'm 23. Damn, I'm old. I'm 22, next month, 23. And I've gotten by so far without the traditional work. And I feel like that in of itself is quite an achievement. And I feel like I can teach a little bit, not enough to be called like a guru, to be, I don't know, like a master of everything, of money management, but good enough so where I can feel like, let me open up a YouTube channel. Let me open up a YouTube channel to do like money tips or investing tips or just every kind of tips, just explaining certain concepts and whatnot. And that's always been something that, I've been interested in. But it's also something that, again, I feel like you need to be much more experienced to really give advice. And obviously I'm not that experienced. I'm quite young. I mean, I look like it, but I'm quite young. So that's one of those things, alright? So if you ever see like a finance channel from me, you'll know. I don't know what I would call it. I'd probably call it something like not the financial education, because that channel already exists. That channel already exists. But I'd probably call it something like money management tips or something along those lines. I have no idea, right? I'm just saying, right? I'm just speaking because I wanted to find a topic to end this podcast with, and that's basically what we did. All right. Is there anything else I've left out? No. We've talked about reactions, we've talked about gaming, and we talked about money. Perfect, eh? Perfect. Speaking of money. No. I won't mention it yet. Maybe next month. From next Patreon, I'll mention it, because there's something that I want to mention, but I don't think the time is right. Maybe once we're nearer to that, then that will be certainly something I might be interested in. Just to briefly touch upon it, right? Alright, you know what? I'm not ending this podcast right now. Forget what I was going to talk about now. I'm not going to speak about that right now. We're probably going to save that for next month, right? But there's another thing that I want to talk about, and that is that I think a lot of you already know, but I might be I might be quitting YouTube, soon. And the reason for that is this channel specifically. I might be cancelling this channel specifically, and the reason for that is actually that, as I said, I get burned out too quickly. And right now I'm recording, and so once I'm burned out, that's probably it. Especially considering I have to reinvent myself, once I'm finished with my studies, to like try and find something else to do, so I don't basically just sit at home all day. So it's very likely that once my studies are finished, I'll be done with YouTube. It's very, very likely. But it's also very, 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 very likely that once I'm done with my studies, that I'll try and like do YouTube a lot more aggressively. It could really go either way. I personally think it's the former. I'll be totally honest. I think that I'm gonna quit. That's just the way it is. Yeah, it may not seem of time. Hot damn. Twice we've already reached the maximum limit. Hot damn. But yeah, it may take a lot. Sorry, what I was gonna say is it may go either way. Although it's more likely that I'm gonna quit. A lot of people already know that. A lot of people already know how I feel about this whole thing, and how quickly I get burned out from things. Once I am burned out, that's pretty much it. There's no going back, really. It's why I actually take so many breaks. Why like you'll see me like upload a lot of video at once, and then I'll just disappear for like 3, 4, 5 weeks or so, and then maybe sometimes even months and so on. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much why I disappeared, because otherwise I would just get burned out if I don't take breaks. That's why I don't understand how people can do like videos at all times. Like Blind Wave, Normies, all these channels that make like 2-3 videos a week. 2-3 videos a day. I'm like, how on earth are you doing that? That's not for me. I've always been someone that prefers quality over quantity, and that's obviously not possible with reactions, because especially if one series have like 50 episodes or so, you're not gonna do quality episodes, because I would prefer like a short show that I can then talk about, analyze in depth. But I've not even been able to analyze anything yet, because quite frankly I just don't have the time. All the time that I have right now goes to three things. First one is YouTube. Honestly, that's what my time goes to right now. The second thing is piano, which I've pretty much dropped at this point. I have a piano channel, for those that don't know. Search up 1 year piano progress. You'll pretty much find me. My videos like 150 or 180,000 views. It's just my name, Prince Kushla. You'll find my piano channel. It's just a progress video channel. But I pretty much not played for like 7 months or so. I'm just on and off, really, on and off. I'm just trying to find motivation to play, trying to find time to play, but just can't find that at the moment, because all the time. Usually I used to divide my time quite well between piano and YouTube. Now I've pretty much just YouTube, because I have even less time. But now it pretty much just goes to YouTube, and piano is just kind of put to the side. Music in general is just put to the side, and then like the thing that kind of takes my time right now is Super Smash Bros. I want to say kind of. I've not even put enough hours in. I expected myself to put like, at this point, considering the game has been out for a solid month now, I expected to have like 150 to 200 hours in, and I've not even cracked 100 hours, which is absolutely pathetic. Yeah, it's just the way it is. I just don't have the time, and that's the issue. I may always seem like I have a lot of time. If, for example, this video has now been going on for like 50 minutes, and that's because I knew I had time just while I started recording. But then as soon as this video is finished, it'll probably be around 11ish for me at night, which means that I'm gonna have to start reading, get revision in, obviously, for the exams. So there's a lot of things that just take up time. A lot of things that just annoy me because they take so much time. Reactions aren't stressful. They're just time. They're just so wasteful with time. You're sitting there for 25, 30 minutes, and it's 30 minutes that while it's enjoyable, it's still 30 minutes of time that you won't get back. So it's just the whole thing. I don't know. It's just the whole thing. Time is probably the big issue why I'll probably quit. Time and motivation. Those are the two issues why I will probably quit the YouTube channel once we hit the summer. Being totally honest here, maybe not. Maybe I'll go in the other direction. Maybe once I've got my new house, or apartment or whatever I'm gonna get. I'm not sure just yet. But once I've got that, maybe maybe I make a room, like a recording room, and that would be something. But maybe that could be the case. Maybe I'll hire a studio, and that could be the case. But at this point, honestly, it just feels like it could go either way. So considering this is the first podcast of the year, I thought I'd just say that. Yeah, I thought I would just mention that if it all goes downhill, that's just the way it is. If it doesn't, that's also just the way it is. So that's just the way it is, folks. The very first podcast of the year. I do appreciate all of you watching. If you have watched this far, it's 50 minutes. I do apologize about the cuts halfway through. Like I said, I've been recording this on my phone, and apparently you can only record 4 gigabytes at once. So every time every time we hit the 4 gigabyte limit, it basically made a cut, and then we started recording again. So that's just the way it is. But yeah, thank you for listening, folks, to the first potty. Maybe first of many. Maybe next time I'll have some people on. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe knows. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Until then, everyone, leave some topics or leave some things that you would want me to talk about in the comment section. If any personal things you want me to talk about, any specific things, the entertainment industry or certain movies or anything that you would want me to talk about in next month, or and let's say monthly. If I do it more than that, it'd be way too much. Like anything specifically you want me to talk about, let me know. Hit me up. I'll leave it in the comment section down below. I always read all the comments. I don't always respond to all the comments. Just because most of the time when I see the comments, I'm on my phone, and obviously I can't just log out of my current account, then log into my YouTube account. That just takes too much time, so I don't really do that. But I do get notifications for all comments. But yeah, folks, I'll see you all next time. Until then, everyone, peace out and have a nice day.